So, breastfeeding. This should be the easy part, right? It's the evolutionary reflex after all. I have to say I hadn't even considered breastfeeding issues really, if I'm honest. I just thought I was going to breastfeed and I'd figure it out as I went along and pick it all up. Well, the first issue was that my little guy didn't open his mouth when he was born, literally just his lips. So for the first 3 days I had to hand express drops of colostrum into a syringe and feed him that way. That definitely took my relationship with my husband to a whole new level, as he was trying to collect colostrum off my nipple at 2 in the morning. We then took the baby to an osteopath who said that he had a stiff neck from being engaged for so long. And actually after 2 treatments he was much happier sort of lying on his back, and also he started to open his mouth and his jaw was comfier, I guess. We did have the most amazing midwives who came once or twice a day to help out and get him latching. I think it was partly because we were a caseload team specifically for home birth, so all my appointments were at home, which made a massive difference. So then once he was finally latching, we then had an issue with my milk coming in suddenly, and I was getting too full, so the nipples were then engorged and he couldn't latch again. So handily I had a pump already on hand so that I could pump some off before feeding him. But I only figured this out after spending an entire day with a screaming baby as he couldn't feed, milk pouring out all over the place, and basically a complete meltdown where in the end I had to call my mum to come and help us. I was thinking I was on the home straight, and then so I happily carried on feeding, although it was quite painful. I thought that wincing every time he latched was normal. It turns out it's not. I went to bed one evening thinking I'd got a cold, and I woke up feeling horrendous with full-blown mastitis. The baby couldn't feed, I couldn't express, I felt like I had the flu, and it was generally a very bad day. So then fortunately I found a lactation consultant who spent 2 hours hand massaging my boobs to drain them and reduce the inflammation, which was quite possibly the most excruciating thing I've ever had done. Much, much worse than labour. And amazingly, as the inflammation was going down, I was starting to feel better and better. I had to keep the breast drained every 2 to 3 hours, so then I had to start setting an alarm to make sure the baby was waking up to feed. Cue exhaustion. And then I also ended up going to hospital to get an abscess drained, which had formed due to the mastitis. Lovely. So anyway, there were definitely some moments when I thought I wanted to quit. There were a lot of tears and there was a lot of pain until I started with a nipple shield, and there was extreme exhaustion. Although I'm looking back on it now and it just seems like a complete dream. I can't really believe that all of that happened. When I literally roll over in bed with my eyes half open, the baby latches himself and I just go back to sleep. It's so much easier, and I'm very glad I persevered. However, without the support of my husband, my mum, my midwives and the lactation consultant, I definitely don't think I would still be breastfeeding today. So if you've got any stories you'd like to share with us, I'd love to hear them, and I will speak to you guys soon.